Wardlings. Wardlings are the name for the people who live within the impoverished slums of the city of Borwick. The slums are known as the Ward, hence their name. The Wardlings are descended from the people of the Brunswick colony who fled south during the events of the Falkland War, which occurred 147 years before the events of the main story. Because of their ancestors' shameful retreat from the Glock uprising, the people of Borwick, who are pure Sulians themselves, treat the Wardlings with utter contempt and look upon them as second-class citizens and subhuman. The late Emperor, Bomdad the Rider, better known as Bomdad the Swollen due to his vast appetite, made the declaration that since the Wardlings are descended from what the Sulian Empire considers cowards, they are to be treated as such for 15 generations. By the time of the main story, only 5 generations have been born. The conditions of the ward is absolutely appalling. Buildings are tightly packed together with narrow, muddy streets and little to no modern infrastructure such as electric lights or running water. Disease such as cholera and typhoid often run rampant due to the lack of skilled doctors and unsanitary conditions. Many young wardling men often fall into the ranks of the slum street gangs and cause more trouble for the already impoverished inhabitants of the slums. Wardlings are not allowed to leave the ward unless given direct permission by the leader of the ward, known as the Baron, who, according to Sulian tradition, has been given unlimited power over his subjects. Wardlings are highly skilled craftsmen and laborers, but are often cheated by their Sulian employers and paid far less than their competitors who live outside the ward. Wardlings are hard workers and take pride in their jobs despite their unfair treatment. The most common forms of employment the Wardlings take is shipbuilding and fishing, due to the fact that the city of Borwick and the slums are built on the shores of the Bay of Thulu, whose dark and foul waters have a bad reputation. The reason for this is because many ships have run aground on the shores of the bay, some of which were completely empty, their crews having abandoned them for no discernible reason. Upon inspection of these derelicts, their hulls are often found to be covered with strange markings, as if some giant creature had tried to take a bite out of the hull. Over the last century, at least 500 ships have run aground on Thulu Bay, and of that number, only a quarter still had their crews with them. These events have given rise to the belief that some sort of aquatic creature dwells at the bottom of Thulu Bay, whom the Wardlings have named the Deep One. And though there are a number of documented cases from eyewitnesses who claim to have seen the beast, there is no hard evidence other than the shipwrecks that the creature does indeed exist. A few Wardlings who practice black magic and witchcraft claim to have communicated with the beast, and they claim that it is only a hollow shell and is waiting for a soul to fill it, so that it may one day rise up out of the ocean and destroy all life. These witches also claim that the Deep One is only one of many empty vessels scattered throughout the earth, waiting to be filled with the soul of some great nameless evil. Whether these claims are true or not, no one is certain, but if they are, then humanity has no hope of defeating them, and the only ones who can possibly defeat these creatures are the mighty kings of the sky, the dragons. Because of the apparent existence of the Deep One, many Wardlings have grown up to become very, very superstitious, and will often carry good luck charms and supposed holy relics to ward off bad luck and evil spirits. Whether these charms do indeed provide some sort of protection, none can say, but the most elderly of the Wardlings will swear by their protective power. These charms, however, have a bad reputation due to the fact that you can only purchase one from a witch or a warlock, who dwell in the worst parts of the slums. And given the fact that the Sulian Empire has banned magic throughout all its sphere of influence, to own one of these charms is to court disaster, for if the Baron were to learn that one of his subjects possessed one, he would send out the Inquisitors, who are known the world over for their ruthlessness, their cruelty, and sadism. When a Wardling goes missing, it is often believed that he was taken by the Inquisitors, and there is often little hope of that person ever being found alive again. Over the years, there have been a number of anti-Sulian riots and rebellions within the ward, but all of them have always been put down brutally by the Baron. But a time is coming soon when the Sulians will no longer be able to put down the rebellions, and on that day, the ward will burn, its people fueled by 1.5 centuries of persecutions. There are over 4.4 million Wardlings dwelling within the slums, and if they banded together, they would be a force to be reckoned with, fueled by righteous anger. The question is no longer if this uprising will happen, it is a question of when it will happen, and how many will die before peace is re-established, if peace is even possible.